this webinar. It's going to be an exciting intergenerational dialogue. I can see people from Kenya. We have Yaspira from Ethiopia, Namibia in the house. We have a lot of Kenyans. Um, Eswatini, we have Malawi. So welcome all to this webinar. Just a quick roundup, house rules. We do have translation at the bottom of the screen. You can see something that looks like a globe or the world button, written interpretation. If you're using your phone, it should be down below. If you're using your laptop or your iPad, your tablet, it should be down below. There's French translation, there's English, not English, but Portuguese. You can all check from there. Just let us know if it's still working. Third house rule is that we do have live streaming. If your friends have been locked out due to the registration cap, you can just send them over to our YouTube channel. We shall share the link on the chat box. Just in case anyone has been locked out, but we do not want anyone locked out. So please just, we shall be sharing that in a few. But just to save on time, my name is Sharon Koki. I am the Communications and Social Media Officer for WIAC Youth in Action, leading program communications for the Youth Power Hub. If you don't know who the Youth Power Hub is, in 2020, WIAC Youth in Action, UNFPA Eastern Southern Africa Regional Office, and also AfriYAN Eastern Southern Africa launched this hub to just strengthen youth leadership and collective action across the 21 countries that we're in. Since then, it has grown into quite a very vibrant digital space where young people can learn, we organize, we speak to the issues and the priorities that are shaping our daily lives in the region. From Angola, Namibia in the house, South Africa, Zimbabwe, Eswatini, Ethiopia, this community has continued to grow, and we've seen what is possible when youth come together with that intention and the purpose. As we move toward ICPD 30 and the fast approaching, we have the 2030 SDG deadline. So this Power Hub remains as a space for honest reflection about the realities of young people that we're facing in health, in gender, in learning, and also that economic opportunity. And today we're seeing that digital safety cuts across all these priorities. We have online platforms that have really opened doors for expression, to earn money, of course. There's also that connection. Yet we've also seen that they have several risks tied to it that can undermine our well-being and widen these generational gaps. So this intergenerational dialogue today gives us that thoughtful space just to unpack these dynamics and also to allow us, young people and adults at large, to just reflect on what digital harm looks like in that context, what drives unsafe online environments, how we can shape that culture of respect and protection within our community. The session today will also speak directly to the spirit of 16 Days of Activism, just by reminding us how safety and dignity matters everywhere, no matter who you are, no matter what you're doing, no matter what gender you're in, both online and offline. So our objectives today are quite a few. One is to explore how different generations experience digital harm and norms and power structures, just to identify the normal common forms of digital violence and also co-create physical commitments, personal commitments that can support safer digital spaces within the Youth Power Hub and globally at large. And to guide us today through this conversation, we are joined by an expert in the room who brings deep experience and a strong youth lens. His name is John Jesse Nabundesi. I hope I've read your last name quite well. Is an award-winning global youth advocate with extensive expertise in digital safety, online violence prevention, and sexual and gender-based violence. He leads a team of community health advocates who document SGBV cases and links survivors to pro bono legal support. His work also spans across national, regional, and also global youth advisory committees that has grounded him in youth-led dialogue, sensitive moderation, and we have designing sessions that help young people understand their rights online and both offline. He has also led community and school outreach, national campaigns during the 16 Days of Activism. We have trainings on consent, cyberbullying, digital harassment, and mental health, which always keeps conversations accessible and youth-friendly. And just as a reminder, this is a safe space, and if you feel like the topics are too heavy for you, you're free to just drop off. and drop us a text on WhatsApp, Lillian, myself. You can also email us just to let us know that you were in the room and you didn't feel very comfortable, and we'll give you that health break that you require. And with that, please just help me in welcoming John Jesse. We can just send emojis, reactions. We just want to feel the love while we're welcoming John Jesse. John Jesse, over to you.
Thank you so much, Sharon. Thank you everyone for the love. Thank you for the for the upload. This is very amazing. So as we keep on the emojis coming in, the different reactions, let us have us react to if you believe that everyone deserves to feel safe online, just still continue dropping the emojis. If we believe that everyone deserves to feel safe online. Yeah, very amazing. Yeah, thank you for the love, everyone. Thank you for the agreement that we feel that everyone deserves to be safe online. And just another simple interactive session, we also need to agree on this fact. If just drop an emoji describing how you feel today, could be about the workshop, and if you don't mind, just drop it in the chat. If you don't mind, you can describe why that emoji. Yeah, so smiley face emoji. You can just drop an emoji of how you feel today. It could be about the workshop, about your life, or just in the moment. People feel loved, people are in agreement. Someone says they're feeling happy, excited. Exactly. So thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you for dropping the emojis in the chat. Lots of people are feeling excited, feeling loved, feeling strong. That's amazing. Okay, I think let us start off with a slideshow. Emojis are still coming in. So as clearly given us to us by a preamble from Sharon, we are going to have an intergenerational dialogue today on digital safety. We are going to start off the session. Next slide, please. We're going to start off this session by defining what digital safety means, what it is. And of course, we are starting off by defining it in 4 simple terms, which is practices, behavior, skills, and systems. Let us have an example on this in a sense. Previous slide, please. Previous slide. Yeah. An example on this in a sense that you wake up every morning and the first thing you do is open your phone to check probably, let's say, WhatsApp. That is your daily practice. And how is your behavior online? Of course, let's say you're going to snap yourself, take a selfie of yourself, post it on your status, just be like, good morning, world. Of course, young people resonate with me on this. But what are your skills in trying to make sure that you keep yourself safe and free from people like digital stalkers, trackers? Do you have the skills in place to probably see that you are blocking your location, IP address, but also are there systems in place to help us keep safe online? So that is why it is very important for me to at least break down digital safety into these 4 key terms: our practices, our behavior online, the skill set, and also systems in place. And with these 4 in place, we are trying to ensure that individuals and communities can use digital tools like smartphones, social media, regular messaging applications, or AI platforms and online services safely, confidently, and with dignity, of course, by reducing the risk and preventing harm. Let's move on, please. Thank you. Okay, so we are going to delve into our next simple exercise. We are going to type in the chat describing one online platform, online space. Could be a platform like WhatsApp, Instagram, Facebook, or a community on, let's say, Telegram or TikTok, or a group where you feel safe, and what makes it feel safe for you. Just type in the chat, please. One online space could be a platform, community, group where you feel safe, and what makes it feel safe for you. Someone says Zoom. Why is that? What makes Zoom feel safe for you? Locate. Yeah, that is a good one. Yeah, if you don't mind, you can also just include why it, what makes it feel safe for you. Someone says privacy guidelines on Zoom. So as young people, we actually do read these privacy guidelines. That is very interesting. Signal, because it's actually so end-to-end encrypted. Yeah, very wonderful. WhatsApp, because it's confidential. Okay. LinkedIn, because it's full of professionalism. Facebook, LinkedIn. Yeah. Yeah, amazing. I think this exercise is also trying to give us a personal and reflective kind of session. We also need to understand what safety looks like in our own personal experience, what online safety looks like. Okay, let's move on to the next slide. Thank you for responding to that. Okay, so now we are going to try to figure out how to tell if you are really safe, where you feel safe. Yeah, actually the last message is saying mail, they feel safe on the email. Yeah, so we are going to try to figure out if you are really safe, where you feel safe. Just open your browser, everyone, and type cover your tracks. Let me also open my phone and show you how it needs to look like. Just type cover your tracks, and then you'll click on the first link. It has to have coveryourtracks.eff.org. You can't see the slide? Someone can see the slide? Can everyone see the slide, please? Just send a reaction if you can see the presentation. Good. Someone says they can't see the slide, but just open your browser and type cover your tracks. Here we are trying to figure out if our browsers are actually safe from being manipulated by trackers. Okay. So when you type cover your tracks, you're going to try to run a test of your browser to see if you have strong encryption on your browser. And if you don't, you will have to download at least a plugin that is a privacy badger and attach it to your browser. So after running a test with mine, these were my results on yeah, it indicates that you have strong protection against web tracking. And of course, everyone just run this simple exercise. You can just type what it has indicated for you. Of course, some of us are going to see results like, okay, you are prone to trackers. And of course, if you are, you just download for yourself a plugin and attach it to your browser. That is the privacy badger, so that you can be able to at least be free from trackers on your browser and browse safely. So this is, if we were feeling safe with our browsers and this indicates that we are not safe, we have to make sure that at least we make ourselves more safer than ever. And the second exercise is, have I been pwned? Just type, have I been pwned on your browser still, and let us, everyone, check if you just input your email address, check if your email address is safe. because there are lots of platforms where we subscribe our email address. There are lots of different platforms where we just fill in, we log into with our email addresses. But some email addresses, some of these platforms where we log into with our email addresses are actually breaching our data, our personal data, to different companies that look at us individuals as products. That is why we are able to receive ads and spamming emails from different locations where we haven't even subscribed. So after checking that, you can probably unsubscribe to the different platforms. Someone is saying, pardon, what do we do with our email addresses? Just type in your browser again, have I been pawned? And the pond is PWNED. And then click on the first site that is going to come. And then you'll input your email address to see if you have any data breach with your email address. And of course, it will show you a list of the different subscriptions that have breached your email data information. Okay, so while we continue doing that, you can also do that during your free time. Let us proceed to the next slide, please. This is driving us directly into what digital violence means. And of course, I am describing what digital violence means as any intentional or unintentional use of different digital technologies. Yeah, thank you so much. I can see in the chat, this is very important. Someone has got one breach of the email, but of course you can unsubscribe your email to that platform that has gotten your data breach. Because when I also did this exercise, I realized that the VPN that I had subscribed to had actually breached my data. And I tried to figure out what other sources or what other better VPNs to use. Yeah, thank you so much for acknowledging that. So we delve into digital violence. Any digital violence could be either intentional or unintentional, as long as someone is using digital technologies to harass, threaten, harm, exploit, or silence, manipulate, or even violate another person or group. And of course, this usually targets someone's safety, dignity, privacy, and their well-being. And when you talk about well-being, this is where things like mental health comes in, things like your personal health and stability, physically, mentally. Yeah, thank you. Next slide, please. So still, as we talk about digital violence, we need to delve into how it looks like across different age groups. And of course, from the different web eras, how the web has been evolving from Web 1.0 to where we are now, Web 3.0. And of course, as we're having this intergenerational dialogue, we need to look at it from the different angles, how digital violence looks like for a young person and how it looks like for an older person. And on the graph, you see that there are three lines that are running parallel to each other. The yellow line is representing young people between ages 15 to 24. And the blue line is representing mid-age adults. The green line, however, is representing adults 50 years and above. And you can see that there are three different compartments here. The first compartment showing the Web 1.0, that was the first web ever, or call it static web. Think of things like static websites, very slow connections, limited content, and mostly at this point, communication was one way. We didn't have interactive websites, or we didn't have social media like we do now. And this ran between a period from around the early 1990s to the early 2000s, around 2005. And after 2005, we had an evolution in the web where we now have social media that is also known as the Web 2.0, which started in the early 2000s. Now here, social media was the thing, and everything changed at this point. Smartphones were introduced, content creation, and also community building online. Platforms like Facebook came up, YouTube, WhatsApp, Twitter, now what we call X, and later Instagram was also created. And this promoted an explosion of user activity on the web. And the third compartment where we see Web 3.0, or now the AI web, which we also call the now era. Here we see that this web is defined by artificial intelligence, like lots and lots of artificial intelligence. We have personalized algorithms. We have also things like deep fakes, voice cloning, and smart devices. More and more smart devices have evolved, like things like robotics, crypto, and many other decentralized platforms. And if you look at the graph closely, you'll notice that young people adoption rises fast. It rises like more rapidly right from Web 1.0, and they still lead the shift into the social media era, the Web 2.0, and then still in the AI era. Of course, we shall see why this is, but of course, as young people, we were born during this time. We were born when these different web eras already exist. So adoption is quite much simpler. And they are followed slowly by mid-age adults, as you can see on the graph, and very gradually by adults above 50 years. And now in Web 1.0, this was the time when young people were exploring computers in school and different internet cafes, while older people at this point did not really see the internet as an essential part of life. And then when you come to Web 2.0, the adults now follow through quickly, especially as
rapidement.
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Apologies,
Sorry.
Jesse. I think you can go on. There was an issue with one of the interpretations, but it's back now.
Okay. Okay, so as we continue through Web 2.0, we see that adults now follow quite quickly, especially at this point, digital communication became more and more part of work and business, and also smartphones had started becoming more user-friendly. Now, this is also when digital violence at this point starts taking new forms like cyberbullying, trolling, misinformation, things like revenge porn, identity theft, which became widespread during this time. And we shall also see that in the next slide. And for the AI era, or you call it the now era, where we are living in now, the Web 3.0, here digital and AI tools have become more and more essential to our work and everyday life. We can agree to this, of course. And still, I also believe that AI has actually made the internet more powerful than ever, but also more dangerous, as we shall see in the different slides. Okay, next slide, please. In this next slide, please. Yeah. In this next slide, we are now trying to figure out like what are the the previous one. Yeah, exactly. We are trying to figure out what are the different forms of digital violence that have come up as the web has been evolving over time. Of course, we are speaking intergenerational. That is why we have to understand like how the internet has always worked from the time it started to where we are now and why the different forms of violence. And the first, when you look at Web 1.0, Web 1.0, at this point, we had fraudulent and threatening emails. At this point, people were using more email. That was like the most effective form of interaction between people. We also had hostile forum platforms, early doxing. But for early doxing here, at this point, people needed to create like whole websites in order to like badmouth or speak ill or respond to a certain political agenda. And at this point, websites were not easily created. We didn't have things like WordPress at this time. It was basically coding. So you had to like code something to do with HTML3, which was quite difficult. So at this point, violence was quite more targeted than it is now. We had things to do with stalking via different chat rooms. Yeah, we also had chat rooms at this stage of the web. And also computer viruses were invented. This is how people used to attack different people through viruses. And during the Web 2.0, the social media-driven violence now arose. Digital violence became more and more public, viral, and deeply interpersonal. Here we have forms like cyberbullying, as I said earlier, revenge porn, stalking on social media. Of course, as I also gave an example, if you don't have the skill set to probably limit certain things like your location while posting, or if it is just not in you, you keep putting your life out there. Of course, things like stalking will come in. And we had a rising hate mob, targeted hate speech. Now, because it was much more easier to give out hate speech than it was earlier, where you had to come up with a whole website in order to at least respond to something, because we didn't have interactive websites at Web 1.0. But now Web 2.0 introduced something new. Social media interaction was more free. Like it was no longer one way; it was a two-way street. You tell me something, I respond to you instantly. And Web 3.0, where we are living in now, at this point, we have some of the most actually dangerous digital forms of digital violence, like the deep fakes, voice cloning. A deep fake, and we see that actually people who are most prone to this could be the adults, because it is quite much easier to fake an adult, and maybe they might not understand that this is actually AI doing this. Right now, if you called my grandfather and told them in my voice, told them anything, they could believe that it is their grandson calling them or something like that. Of course, voices are cloned, and someone of my age bracket would try to first think twice. John Jesse does not usually use certain words like this, but someone older, let's say 50 and above, would start thinking, maybe he's just not in a good mood today, not realizing that the era we're actually living in at the moment has changed a lot, and forms of digital violence have evolved to things that can actually make you believe that someone is doing something they're actually not, and yet it's someone else. Things like AI-generated misinformation. We have all been on social media scrolling through, and you don't really understand whether some videos are either AI or reality anymore. Things have changed. Synthetic sexual violence. We have things to do with hyper-personalized scams. Yeah, so these are the different forms of digital violence that we are having right from the evolution of from Web 1.0, where we had the static web, and then we came to the social media era, and now the AI era, which is now also seen as the most dangerous era in terms of violating the rights of people online. So this next slide, in our next slide, we are talking about why the intergenerational approach. And of course, we will all agree that while we're having this conversation about the intergenerational approach, we are not trying to judge how people or different age groups use the internet by saying, okay, adults do this, we young people do this. No. We are actually trying to recognize that we each bring different experiences, strengths, and challenges on the table, shaped by the different eras of web that we have grown up in. As I said earlier, as young people, we have actually grown up between Web 2.0 to Web 3.0, where we are in right now. And by bringing these perspectives together, we are creating a clearer picture of digital harm and a stronger foundation for co-creating safer online spaces. Of course, using the experiences right from when the web was started, Web 1.0, where the adults grew up in, up to where we are right now, the AI web, as much as we adopt much easily as young people. Let's go directly to the next slide, please. So as I said earlier, that we are trying to look at the different strengths, challenges. Here we look at the digital strengths that we have in based on the different web eras that we have grown up in. And as young people below ages of 30, we have grown up in between Web 2.0 and Web 3.0, as I mentioned earlier. This is the social media web and the AI-driven content. I think some of us remember the times when we used to have Facebook Zero. That is the time I think I was in primary at that point. Facebook Zero, we wouldn't share pictures, but yeah, you would be able to message. And that is how much social media has evolved. And the digital strengths of we, the young people who fall under this category, the below ages of 30, of course, we are highly adaptable to the different and new applications and technologies that keep on arising in the now era. We have also strong visual communication skills. We are the creators of memes. We all agree to that. We are the creators of amazing videos, and we are the storytellers, of course. And we also have a deep understanding of the different online trends and platform cultures. Sometimes it is quite difficult to get onto a platform and easily adopt to the culture, but as young people, like, you just see how fellow young people or peers are using this platform and quickly adapt, like there and then, immediately. It took me quite a long time to actually adopt to things like TikTok, but it was the trend. So I was like, why not have it on my phone as well? Yeah, but it is quite much easier for us young people to like quite adapt to these trends and platforms, and also understand the platform cultures. we have a faster information processing mindset, and we also multitask as well. You can agree with me, as young people, we have at least at a certain point texted the same person on, let's say, like three different platforms. You're texting them on Snapchat, texting them on TikTok and on WhatsApp at the same time, but having three different conversations. So those are some of the forms of multitasking that we have. We have different platforms open at the same time. We also have a high familiarity with the privacy settings. Even before you read the privacy settings, you already know that on WhatsApp, we can do this, 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 this. On TikTok, you can block this in this way, in this way. So even before you read the privacy settings, I think because we have actually interacted with our peers in many ways on these platforms, we just understand easily. We have a high familiarity of how these privacy settings work and the different digital tools. We also have a high and early awareness of cyberbullying. We always see it coming, and misinformation and online risks. It is very easy for a young person to tell that, okay, I think this is AI. Even the way it is, you can actually tell that this is AI. But probably someone else would just see the video and be like, oh, this lion is eating in a restaurant. But of course, as young people, we would easily be aware of the different cyberbullying, misinformation, and various risks online. And we are, of course, comfortable using AI tools, filters, and editing apps like Canva and different various editing apps. On the other hand, the digital strengths that people 30 plus years have, people who grew up in the web 1.0 and also the early web 2.0, the email era, forums, and early social media, these have a stronger sense of online boundaries and privacy awareness. They have better evaluation of long-term digital consequences. Of course, with this, at least you will understand that, okay, before I engage into this conversation, I think this is what might come out of it. Maybe I'll receive backlash on it, but sometimes as young people, we're just vibing with the conversations. You just respond or comment to something, and not having a clear or better evaluation of some of the long-term digital consequences. And they also have higher patience and reflection and caution online, easily reflect on what they're doing online and take caution of it. It's much difficult for an adult to post on a daily, probably on their story, things like their personal and daily life, unless they're actually like up there as content creators. They also have stronger ability to separate offline and online life. Exactly what I just talked about. Experience with the early internet cultures like forums, email etiquette, the email etiquette things to do with, I hope this email finds you well. Yeah, but we also need that kind of experience in our day-to-day lives and interactions online as young people. I also believe that adults above ages of like 30, at least, are more resilient to online trends and peer pressure. It is like quite difficult to find an adult who is like keeping up with the different trends and peer pressure. If there is like a content creator, it is quite difficult for such an adult to be influenced easily by content creators. And also, I believe that these people have critical thinking skills that have been shaped by pre-digital experiences right from the web 1.0 era. throughout the whole evolving web until where we are now. I think let us move on to the next slide. Those are some of the digital strengths that we have in the different age groups and across the different web eras that have shaped us, that we have grown up in. And the next slide is talking about now the digital challenges. We have strengths, but we also have challenges. And this is going to drive us into how we can actually harmonize to create better digital platforms so that we are able to stay safe online. So the different digital challenges, as we said earlier, young people have grown up through Web 2.0, Web 3.0, the AI era, and the digital challenges that we experience as young people, first of all, is high exposure to cyberbullying and online harassment because of our interaction online. Like, we are always online and we are highly susceptible to things to do with cyberbullying and online harassment. And also because we are always commenting on the different topics, regardless of how controversial, we are just vibing with whatever comes. We also have pressure to maintain an online identity and platform. The pressure to maintain our streaks on Snapchat is also quite crazy. Actually, recently I was scrolling through TikTok, and there's a video from a Tanzanian young man, I think Tanzanian young content creator, who was saying that the blockade of internet during the elections actually killed lots of people's streaks from Tanzania. So imagine we're having such a political issue, and what we are fronting in this case is we want to maintain our online identity. And as a content creator, as someone who has streaks online, going 2 days a week without posting online, that is like something I can't go with. So we have that pressure to maintain an online identity. We also have short attention spans and information overload. You can check, you can actually see like something online and you're not sure whether this thing can even work out or not, but just because maybe you saw it somewhere like on TikTok, you would like to try it out in your day-to-day life. And while probably it is much easier for you to like scroll with a very short attention span to maybe finish up on something that would actually have benefited you more than some drama or comedy reels. We also have difficulty disconnecting that leads to actually being blurry online and offline boundaries. You can go to sleep with your Wi-Fi left on or data left on, and this actually makes you more susceptible to being tracked because you're leaving your IP address easily identifiable to the outside world. So we have that as a challenge, difficulty disconnecting, vulnerability to deep fakes and sexual violence, because of course you have put your voice out there, you have put your image in different forms out there. So it is easy for you to be deep faked in terms of sexual violence because of the different forms that we are portraying ourselves on the internet. We also have an issue with social comparison, anxiety, and low esteem. If you're seeing a content creator, like a certain content creator, each and every single day, you will at some point ask yourself, but okay, like young people my age are living this sort of life. Why not me? Like, why don't I have this life at this age? So you start comparing yourself to different people out there who are actually just content creators, and they're actually benefiting this monetarily from this monetarily, while you yourself are trying to compare yourself to them, and they're doing this on job. We also have like a high exposure to harmful content through the algorithms that we have built for ourselves online. And we have also normalized oversharing and oversharing on different social media platforms. And how we share also matters. We have a challenge with our privacy. How do we separate our offline life from our online life? That is something that we are being challenged with as young people. And also, while you're posting, you have to understand, okay, I'm going to post on Instagram, but I will disable my location or something like that. Or things like people who have gone to certain workplaces know this. There are certain meetings maybe where you are not allowed to post like in real time. You can post like after. So when you post something after, someone will know that, okay, you were here like a day before, but you're not there now, and they will not be able to stalk you or track your footsteps because you are posting things and not in real time, and probably sometimes disabling location. Whereas the adults 30 plus years have a difficulty keeping up with the fast evolving platforms and AI tools. And of course, this is why the intergenerational approach is very important. While young people have like higher adaptability to these platforms, older people are finding it difficult to keep up with the fast evolving platforms and AI tools. And they face a higher vulnerability to the different AI scams and phishing. As I said earlier, it is very easy for someone to call a grandpa or grandma and tell them that, okay, this is your grandson, using their grandson or granddaughter's voice. And of course, they will believe it. And it will be posing a high vulnerability to the older generations to such scams, which are AI generated, like voice cloning, deepfake calls. And they also have a lower digital literacy in emerging technology. Since they have grown up in the different Web 1.0, Web 2.0, right now, young people in universities are actually using things like AI to do research, whereas adults 30 plus years used to go to the library the old-fashioned way. But right now, it's AI to do research, and it will actually also mention the different reference points where you can read more. So there is an issue with lower digital literacy on emerging technologies amongst adults who are 30 plus years. We also have an issue to do with anxiety about children's or youth digital presence online. So yeah, as I said earlier, as young people, we are putting our lives a lot out there, and this actually leaves our parents, our grandfathers, mothers, anxious, because it's more like they understand that what you're putting out there could actually, they have like higher levels of risk assessment and the consequences that would come over from overly putting your lives out there. And sometimes they actually get overwhelmed due to the constant notifications and changing interfaces, software, new software development, updates. And it is kind of becoming hard for them to find a work-life balance. So work-life boundaries are kind of blurred by digital communication. You don't know if probably whether to post your work life on your X or basically post your work, both your work and day-to-day life on the same platform. So sometimes it gets hard for them to have boundaries between their work and life, day-to-day life. And we also see that there is an issue with misinformation that is targeting them directly through the AI that we mentioned earlier, and also struggles adjusting from offline fast to online fast systems. Exactly. So next slide, next slide, please. Let us find out what is actually making it hard for us to be safe online. And of course, I mentioned earlier during our, while we were defining what digital safety means, systems was one of the key terms that I used to define digital safety. And of course, systems is a very important term because systems have to be in place for us to ensure that we have the skill sets and to ensure that we can change our behavior and practices when we are online. And of course, we have things to do with technology evolving faster than laws. When you look at AI tools like deepfakes, voice cloning, and impersonation scams, these move quickly, but most countries right now, as we're talking, and regional bodies as well, do not yet have clear laws to protect people from these new forms of digital violence. And that is why this year's theme, this year's theme for the 16 days of activism was ending digital violence towards women and girls. And when you look at the Beijing Plus 30, I don't believe they had envisioned how much digital violence would be causing harm in regards to gender-based violence at this point. We have tried as much as possible to achieve on a threshold tackling the different forms of gender-based violence. But what has kept on rising throughout the years is digital violence. So technology at this point is evolving faster than laws. Something needs to be done in this case. So that keeps on making it hard for us to be safe online today. We also have a second issue on social media platforms, which are not enforcing safety consistently. Of course, sometimes you can, while scrolling, you can say, okay, I don't want to keep seeing this. There are those provisions, but still, at a certain point, you'll see something similar. Harmful content often stays online also for too long. If someone's videos are leaked, why is it staying online for too long? However much they're reporting, we see that reporting systems are too slow, and moderation doesn't actually always consider certain contexts and vulnerabilities. So the question here is, why are they taking like quite too long when you report that, okay, my videos have been leaked without my consent? Why are these reporting systems too low? So that calls for change. That calls us to take action. Something needs to be done. 3, the fact that privacy is weak and personal data is easily misused. Things like our phone numbers, photos, and personal information can be easily leaked and be shared without our consent, as I said earlier. And this, of course, creates an opportunity for people who would like to harass us, stalk us online, and also abuse our identities. There should be systems in place to at least handle things like this, not easily leaking our contacts without our consent. And number 4, online harm right now is spreading faster through faster than support systems can respond. Here we look at things to do with litigation. When you look at harassment goes viral in minutes. if right now, let's say, a new picture of someone, could be AI generated, was leaked, this could go viral in just seconds. But investigations for this are going to take years and years. Reporting and even community support is going to take like quite longer times than how faster the harassment has gone viral. And this usually leaves the victims exposed, and they at times feel overwhelmed from continuous interaction normally with their communities. Next slide, please. In our next slide, we are looking at how do we change the reality. And of course, this is going to call for, next slide, an exercise. We are going to have a simple exercise on co-creation. Yeah, the last slide, slide 14. So we are going to co-create how we actually want to envision our new reality, how we would like to create more and more safer digital platforms for ourselves to interact with one another. Next slide. Yeah. Okay, so pull out your phones, everyone. We are just going to scan the QR code, or you can open up your browsers. It could be on your phones or laptop, and you type slido.com. After typing slido.com, you can put the number right there, 3159371, or you can just pull out your phone and scan. Are we there, everyone? Just send some reactions if we are there. Great. I can see some people in the chat saying, very insightful, thank you very much. Please share the presentation. I think that is something we need to discuss with the organizers of this event. I think they'll respond to that later again. The code is 3159371. You can also see it projected on your screens. You just go to your browser, type slido.com, and then we are going to just do a simple co-creation phase. We need to create how we envision our futures and interactions online. Insightful. Thank you very much. Okay, so I think I'll display my slide. Now you can end the presentation, please. Yeah, thank you. Okay, can we now see the Slido? Yeah, if yes, good. Thank you. Okay, now let's start responding. Can we see the first question? The first question is saying, which actions should we take first to strengthen to strengthen our community safety online? Which actions? And this is basically ranking. So we're going to rank the different safety precautions, different actions that we need to take. If you have anything other than this, you can just type it in the chat. You just rank like from 1 to 6. Which one do you think we need to take first? Which one do you think we need to take second, third, fourth? Yeah, and if you have any other action other than this, you can just type it in the chat and we will capture it. I can see we have 19 respondents so far. If you are not yet able to join into the slide, now 22 respondents, the QR code is still displayed on the screen, or you can just open your browser, type slido.com, and then input the number that is displayed below here, the number 3159371. So far we have 29 respondents. I would like each and everyone at least to participate, because this is what is informing our next points of action. And this is what is going to inform the next point of action for what young people want in terms of addressing things to do with community safety online. How do we strengthen it together? Okay, we see that training youth and adults together is taking the lead. So we need to get more and more skills on how to be safe online. Exactly, very important. Things to do with at least checking if your email is safe from data breaches, like the exercise we did earlier. I think this is one of the trainings that need to at least be given on a large scale. And we only had a few exercises and a few examples to look at the moment, because of course we don't have much time for this masterclass, but that is good for now. It will be based on our recommendations from this exercise that we continue taking on things like this to see what needs to be taken action upon first and what needs to be second. It's training youth and adults together. So more and more intergenerational approaches like this, and also awareness creation campaigns. Yeah, still knowledge base, creating reporting channels, establishing digital well-being check-ins. So this is basically creating a support group. Building an intergenerational safety council, developing guidelines for AI use. Yeah, I said earlier that if you feel you have another point of action you would like us to address, please just type it in the chat. And it's not here, just type it in the chat. Okay. In the chat, someone is saying collaborating with different NGOs or CSOs that are working on community well-being for the young generation and create online platforms for the youth themselves. You can just react to that in the chat. Just click a simple reaction in the chat to that statement if you're in agreement. We need to take on the voices of the young people. Okay, so let us, at the moment, we still have training youth and adults together taking the lead. So meaning we need to address this in an intergenerational kind of way. So it is very important for us to keep on having such intergenerational masterclasses so that we are able to address the internet issues to do with digital safety right from when the web started to how it has kept on evolving to where we are now. That is very important. So this also proves the importance of this intergenerational dialogue. Thank you very much for responding to that. We, in second place, we have creating awareness campaigns. Yeah, so more and more awareness campaigns, both online and offline, are needed to at least talk to people, even peer support networks, talk to people how they can be kept, they can make sure that they keep themselves safe online. In third place, we have establishing digital well-being check-ins. Great. That is more like creation of different support groups within our communities, people who can at least check in on you in case of things to do with harassment online. Creating a reporting channel. Sometimes actually we have cases of victims who come in and they actually don't know where exactly to go to report in instances where they have been harassed online. So creating a reporting channel is also very important, and that is coming in fourth place. Building an intergenerational safety council. Yeah, this is coming in fifth place, at least a committee or council where we have both adults and young people advising one another on how to approach issues to do with digital safety. Developing guidelines for AI use, very, very, very important. At least we have to advocate for this in the different countries where we come from. And that is why this theme for the 16 days of activism this time, at least let it be more like a fuel for us to see that technology facilitated gender-based violence is something that we need to pay keen attention to from the different communities we come from. Yeah, very, very important. And then lastly, we have, let me see, setting up peer support systems. Yeah, still very important. Okay, so we move on to just one last question. So with one word, describe the digital future we want to build together. How do you envision the digital future that we want to build together while focusing on the intergenerational approach, secure? We want to build a secure digital future together. Very important. Thank you. In one word, just describe the digital future we want to build together. Someone says a safe digital future. Safe and inclusive, very important. Yeah, inclusive. Yes, exactly. Exactly. So from this, we shall have something that we call a youth pledge that we will, of course, have to come up with based on the different responses that we are having from you, the voices of the young people, because right now we are representing the young people who have not been able maybe to make it for this webinar, this event. Safe space for everyone, exactly. That is why when we started by, first of all, reflecting on the fact that we would want to see that the internet is a safe space for everyone. So with one word, just describe the digital future we want to build together. Meaningful, yeah. A space which is reliable, protective, respectful, yeah, safe and inclusive, accountable. Just keep them coming, Positivity, effective. We will exactly see how to embed at least each voice and genuine recommendations into a youth pledge that we will have to at least follow up in the due course. Very enticing. Safe. At least safe is coming in with the most responses, standing in the middle with the sustainable, inclusive, safe and inclusive, very important. Empowering, exactly. We would like to have an empowering digital space, not a space that is just destructive, a space that is just destroying our young people, our children, but a space that is empowering us to be better individuals in society. Very important. Human-centered, exactly. Accountable. We should be able as users to actually hold these different companies, social media companies accountable, just like the different cases that have been running in the US over different social media companies throughout the years, and how they are making young people susceptible to information that probably parents think might not be safe for them. So that those are certain forms that we can actually hold this accountable. Yeah, private. It should be private for us. Exactly. Confidential, innovative. We also have talks in our different societies, our different communities that, of course, when we're using social media, sometimes we believe we are the products. That's why we keep on getting a different ads. But as I told you earlier, when you check your browser using the coveryourtracks.eff.org, you can just add a plugin to your browser, which has which is the privacy badger, and this is going to prevent like unnecessary ads from coming into your browser. It is going to at least protect you from different trackers. You can also familiarize yourself with various tools to do with how to make sure that you navigate the internet in a safe way. This is something that sometimes we overlook, by the way, but it is very important. Not until you fall victim of something like this. But I don't want that to happen to any of us here. And we, of course, have to be messengers and take this information back to our fellow young people in our communities. Yeah, exactly. So safe still stands in as the word with the most respondents. And with that, I just want to end. Yeah, I think I'll end there. Exactly. So with that, I would like us to end. I would like to end by saying thank you, at least, to everyone who has contributed to this. It has been very wonderful. People are still responding in the chat. Maybe those who were not able to connect to the Slido, very important. Transformative, amazing, connected. Yes, exactly. Those who are not able to connect to the Slido, at least you can just type in the chat what your message, what you would like to at least see in the youth pledge. Very important. And a few affirmative messages here. John, can you repeat them? Cover your track process. You just open your browser and type cover your track, cover your tracks in your browser, and then you will see if your browser is safe from different trackers or you're actually navigating the internet safely. If not, because after running a test, you receive a report, and this will be showing you if whether your browser is safe or not. If not, you can just add a plugin. It is just right there. They will show you something like a link to the privacy badger. Then you'll click on it and then add it as a plugin to your browser. It will keep you safe and private from being easily tracked online. Thank you very much. Okay, a good presentation. Can we have the slides? Yeah, I think for now I'll turn back to either Sharon or Lillian. Thank you very much for having me on this event, and thank you everyone for keeping it as interactive as possible. Thank you. Back to you, Sharon.
Thank you, Jesse. A round of applause, if you can, for John Jesse for that insightful presentation. Jesse, before you go, we do have one question. I'm not sure if you've answered this or I missed it. From the BC, how as young people engage policymakers in advocating for digital safety and well-being of our society if the members of parliament or ministers are not tech savvy? Perhaps you could answer that before we do a final closeout. Thank you.
Exactly. Thank you so much for that wonderful question. I didn't see that in the chat. Was it in the chat or something?
No, it's in a Q&A box. We also have Mupenzi Derek. I'll hand over to Mupenzi after you answer Tobisi's question. Over to you, Jesse.
Okay, thank you. Of course, we have different social media platforms, and it depends what we use these social media platforms for. As advocates, of course, it is very important to convey our messages. How do we use our social media platforms? And of course, this is like training for another day, but of course, we have to, as much as possible, try to convey messages to certain platforms where we cannot reach physically. Just put your message out there using your social media, tag the rightful people who will maybe help amplify, and also the persons that you are targeting. But also, I'll still throw it back to us, Sharon, to the Youth Power Hub. How are we, as a Youth Power Hub, at least giving young people the platform to do this kind of work? Yeah, but for now, as an individual advocate, I think it is very important to use our social media platforms to convey such information, and also while tagging the rightful people who are in charge. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Mupenzi Derek. Mupenzi, in Kenya, Mupenzi means lover. So Mupenzi, please go ahead. I've asked you to unmute. Please let us know what your question is. We can see your microphone is unmuted, but we can't hear you. Or is it on my end? Lillian, John, can anyone hear him? All right.
Can anyone hear me? Okay, thank
Yes,
you
we
so
can
much.
now.
My question was how can we leverage our social media platform to promote a meaningful community? Hello.
Jesse, did you get the question?
How can we leverage our social media platforms to create a what? Meaningful community?
Yeah.
Well, of course, if I do understand you well, I think it depends on how you interact on in your day-to-day life on your social media, because the algorithms on our social media are actually built based on our daily interactions. So if you're someone who is interacting with, let's say, opportunities for youth, like myself, I actually receive opportunities for youth on my Instagram and LinkedIn, like almost on a daily. because these are like platforms that I am interacting with each and every single day. So in order to create something meaningful for yourself, it is based on your daily interactions on your social media platforms. And if you want to create an online community, of course, just be in touch with like-minded individuals. Get in touch with like-minded individuals. You can, let's say, formulate something. And still, I will drive it back to Youth Power Hub. If we want to, let's say, continue such interactions amongst our young people, our fellow young people, I think it is also very important that we have something structured, even online, for us to. I don't know. I think there is a WhatsApp group in place that we can at least keep on sharing information, knowledge, and certain other opportunities. But coming back to the individual level, I think it is very important for you to mind what you take in each and every single day, for you to create yourself an algorithm that speaks to what you want to be seeing on a daily. Thank you. Back to you, Sharon. I think I responded.
Thank you so much, Jesse. I'm not seeing any other question, and I'm sure we've addressed all of them. But thank you so much, guys. We've come to the end of today's dialogue, and I want to appreciate each and every one of you who has been on this webinar, the live stream, just for the honesty and the generosity of your time also, and or the knowledge that you've brought onto this space. As you all know, these generational conversations work because young people show up willing to listen, to learn, to share their expertise, and also to just rethink. And today we were rethinking what safety means for us and our communities. Are we making our online communities safe spaces? Did you comment something negatively about someone? Could be on TikTok. I know we laugh a lot about TikTok comments, but we should be mindful. And today has just reminded us that digital harm does not only look the same across ages, but everyone is just navigating a different landscape that changes faster than the laws that are there to protect us, or the platforms or the systems that we are ready to keep up with. John, thank you so much. You took us through so many foundations of digital safety, just from understanding our online behaviors to the systems that shape these environments that we move through, especially because majorly the Youth Power Hub is online. We've explored digital violence, just how that shows up in our lives, or if someone you know has experienced digital violence, how even our own age can affect that digital exposure, or just that experience, or how we interpret that risk. But I think what I appreciated the most is how grounded this dialogue was in the possibility, because we talked about the tools that can help us understand. It was so nice to see people commenting saying, oh, I've not found my email is not in breach, I'm safe, I'm not safe, what can I do to change that? And I think just reflecting on that space where we feel safe and answering those questions of why is my email being leaked somewhere here? Why is my number here? Why is my image over here? And I think it is something that we've built together through that awareness. So we appreciate you for taking your time to take us through that. The Youth Power Hub was also created just to be a place where young people across the region that we're in can learn and grow and shape that shared vision just for the future. And I think digital safety is quite a big part of that journey, because feeling safe online also influences how freely we can speak, we can move, how boldly we can also organize ourselves, organize our movements, and also confidently taking up that space, especially in an ever-changing digital world. Just before we close, I hope we all took that commitment that John shared on Slido. It could be maybe something small for you, it could be quite practical, but I hope you take it that it is very reflective, and you take it back home just to be something that you want to change in your own digital habits, in how you support others who have been affected by digital violence, don't be someone who blames someone of why they're in that situation. I think just taking those small steps also shifts the tone of how the community can move moving forward. So thank you, John, for guiding this conversation with such clarity and care. And to everyone who has shared an idea, shared a question, a comment, or just listened to John, the expert today. Thank you for contributing to this conversation today. So we look forward to keeping this dialogue alive in the coming weeks as we continue to prepare or champion for ICPD 30. So we just thank you for being here. And at this juncture, I would like to just close the meeting and wish everyone I think we can start wishing people Merry Christmas now. Yeah. So Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy 2026. See you all next year. Thank you, and over to you, DJ Egan.
Oh, the top feels so much better than the bottom. So much better. Maybe use a window shopper. You mad at me? I think I know why. Nigga use a window shopper. In the jewelry store looking at shit you can't buy. Nigga use a window shopper. In the dealership trying to get a test drive. Nigga use a window shopper. Mad as fuck when you see me ride by. Summertime, white Porsche Carrera is milky. I'm on the grind, let my paper stack when I'm filthy. It's funny how niggas get the screw facing at me. Anyhow, they ain't got the heart to get at me. I get down south side the hood that I come from. So I don't cruise through nobody hood without my gun. They know the kid ain't going for all that bullshit. Try and stick me, I'm a little for full clip. It ain't my fault you done fucked up your re-up. At the dice game, who told you put a G up? Everybody mad when their paper don't stack right. But when I come around, y'all niggas better act right. When we got the tops down, you can hear the system.